Hi, I'm Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math, and today we're learning about solving one-variable equations. In this video, we're going to first talk about one-step equations, then two-step equations, then multi-step equations, then we're going to have a real-world problem here, and then we're going to solve with a literal equation. And so, when you're ready, let's get started. Let's solve this one-step equation. We have x plus 5 equals 12. Well, the first thing I notice here, I have adding a 5 on the left, and that's next to the x. And I want to get x by itself. So to do that, I'm going to take the opposite of addition, which is subtraction, and subtract a 5 to both sides of our equation here. 5's cancel on the left, leaving me with x by itself is equal to, on the right, 12 minus 5, which is a 7. And so we solve this one-step equation, and we got x equals 7. Let's now solve this two-step equation. We have 3 times in parentheses x plus 4, that equals 21. Now there's a few ways to go about this. You could possibly divide by 3 to both sides first, or distribute the 3 to the parentheses first. I'm going to do that part first. So I'm going to distribute here 3 times the x, which is 3x, and 3 times a 4, which is a 12. And that equals a 21. Now from here, we want to still get x by itself. So I'm going to get rid of the 12 first and bring it to the right. I'm going to subtract by 12 first to both sides of the equation. 12's cancel on the left, leaving me with 3x on the left is equal to 21 minus 12, which is a 9. Now from here, I have 3x equals 9. That's multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by a 3. X is by itself here is equal to 9 divided by 3, which is a 3. And so now we solved here our two-step equation, and we got x equals 3. Let's solve now this multi-step equation. We have 7x plus 2 equals 4x plus 14. Well, one thing I should notice first here is there is a variable on both sides of the equal sign. And so I want to bring them together first, combine those like terms. So my first step here is I'm going to take the 4x and move it to the left with the 7x here. So I'm going to subtract a 4x to both sides of the equation. On the right here, those 4x's cancel each other out. So we're left with just a 14. Here we have 7x minus 4x, which is a 3x. Then this plus 2 just comes down. Now this looks like a problem we can solve. It's a little easier. We have 3x plus 2 equals 14. I now want to subtract a 2 to both sides of the equation. 2's cancel on the left. 3x is by itself is equal to 14 minus 2, which is a 12. Then from there, 3x equals 12. That's multiplication. Out multiplication, division. Divide both sides by a 3. X is now by itself, and 12 divided by 3 is a 4. And so we solved our multi-step equation, and we got x equals 4. Sarah is saving $45 per week to buy a $600 phone. She already has $150 saved. How many weeks will it take her to afford the phone? We want to make an equation here from the information that's given in our real-world problem here. We know we have $45 per week to buy a $600 phone, and she already has $150 saved. Okay, so the goal to see is how many weeks it will take to get to afford the phone, which is $600. So we'll start on the left-hand side is the accumulation of how much money she saved, and the right-hand side is going to be, well, the amount she needs. All right, so the amount she needs on the right is that $600 for the phone. So she wants to save up there to get 600. So to calculate that, we already know she has $150 saved. All right, that's a constant. That was right from the beginning. She has $150 saved. And we're going to add that to how much she saves per week. And she saves $45 per week. And we want to determine how many weeks it takes. So weeks, we can give the variable W. And now we have an equation here to determine how many weeks it will take for the left-hand side, how much money she'll have saved up, to be equal to the right-hand side, the cost of the phone. So now we want to solve this equation. And now it's just like every other equation we're solving. Once we've created the equation, we're just solving it. We can get rid of the dollar signs if it's easier to read. We have 150 plus 45w equals 600. Well, I want to get w by itself. So I'm first going to subtract a 150 to both sides of the equation. 150 cancels on the left, leaving me with just a 45w on the left, is equal to 600 minus 150, which is a 450. Now, we have multiplication here between 45 and w, so I'm going to divide that to both sides, 45 to both sides of the equation. This gives me the w, now all by itself, is equal to 450 divided by 45, which is 10. And so what this tells us here is that in 10 weeks, Sarah will have enough money saved up to afford her phone. Now let's solve for our variable x. We have here ax plus b equals c, and we need to solve for x. Don't get scared with this. X is our variable, and we're treating the rest almost kind of like, well, they're kind of constants in a way, but we don't know what they are, but we're just going to move them over to get x by itself. And it's the same process as before when it's just numbers. So the first thing I'm thinking here is, okay, let's think opposite of the order of operations. Let's go with opposite of addition and subtraction. Let's get the b over to the right because I want to get x by itself. So we have addition, let's subtract a b to both sides of the equation. B's cancel on the left, leaving me with an ax on the left is equal to, now normally, if these were just numbers that we knew, we'd combine them. But we don't know. We treat each one like we don't know what they are per se, what numbers they're representing. And so we have just c minus a b. We can write it like that. Then our next step here, we have a times an x, opposite of multiplication, division. So I divide a to both sides of the equation. A's cancel on the left, leaving me with x by itself. And on the right, since again, we can't really distribute a to both parts and simplify it. I mean, we could write it as two fractions, but we can write it as one statement here. So we're going to leave it as that, just dividing by a. So we have c minus b over a. And so for this equation here, x is equal to c minus b over a. Now, one thing here is we can actually solve for any one of these variables, each one, and get each one by itself, doing similar processes. But for this one here, we just have x by itself, and it's telling us that x is equal to whatever c minus b over a is. In this video, we learned about solving one-variable equations. We first started with a one-step equation, then a two-step equation, then a multi-step equation, then we had a real-world problem, and then we had a literal equation we had to solve. And so now I leave you with a bonus problem. See if you can solve this. We have 1/2 times 4x minus 6 is equal to an x plus 3. Be careful with that fraction here. I hope you learned about solving one-variable equations in this video. And as always, thanks for watching.